In this quick lesson, you're going to learn about sentence fluency. Sentence fluency is when we vary the structure and the length of our sentences so that our writing flows, so that it sounds natural. I don't know if you've ever been reading a peer's writing or a piece of writing that just sounded kind of choppy. That's probably because it doesn't have effective sentence fluency. So let's look at some pieces of my writing that have really terrible sentence fluency. So the setting in this is the middle school cafeteria, and it's in the middle of a food fight. Both of these examples are terrible examples of sentence fluency. I looked up. I saw someone throw a piece of bread. I picked up my hamburger. I tossed it. I got hit in the head with a cheese stick. I smeared yogurt in a girl's hair. This example is a great example of starting every sentence in a similar way. If you notice, I start almost every sentence with I and then a verb, right? I also am using really short sentences over and over and over, which makes my writing sound very choppy. In this example, I'm using longer sentence structure. I'm actually using two different clauses in each sentence. However, it still sounds choppy because I'm structuring each sentence exactly the same. After getting hit in the head with a piece of bread, I picked up my hamburger. While I was nervous to throw it, it looked like so much fun. Although I didn't throw it hard, it smashed into a friend's face. Since she was clearly annoyed, she smeared yogurt in my hair. You kind of get into this like dee-da-dee-da, dee-da-dee-da-dee-da, dee-da-dee-da, dee-da-dee-da-dee-da, right? Because I structured each of my sentences exactly the same, it sounds boring to read to the reader. So right now, I actually want you to practice using terrible sentence fluency. So the setting of your story is going to be a creepy, abandoned theme park. So here's your picture. I want for you to open your composition notebook to your second tab, which is the grammar and craft section. And I want for you to start a story, just write 1 or 2 paragraphs, but I want for you to try to use terrible sentence fluency. Your writing should sound super choppy. You could, for example, use really short sentences, or you could try using the same sentence structure over and over and over. Try to make it sound like it doesn't flow at all. Okay, so let's look at a really strong example of sentence fluency. Remember that sentence fluency is varying my structure and length so that my writing flows. Here I'm using the same setting, the cafeteria in the middle of a food fight. However, I'm varying my sentence structure and length so that my writing flows. A slice of bread slammed into my forehead and slid down it. I watched it fall to the floor. Looking up, I saw a cheese stick fly across the cafeteria, catching a boy by surprise. He laughed and then picked up his chocolate milk container. I looked down at my half-eaten hamburger. It looked like it was heavy enough to make it across the cafeteria. I bet that I could peg that grumpy lunch lady who never let me take 2 chocolate milks. I threw it. Instantly, I felt empowered. I grabbed my yogurt. Dumping a blob in my hand, I readied myself to strike. Before my friend Jackie could turn around, I slimed the back of her head with yogurt. It sounds natural and it's really fun to read because I'm using both short and long sentences. I'm using some sentences where I start with a dependent clause and somewhere I have 2 independent clauses chunked together with a conjunction like and. I'm varying my sentence structure and I'm varying my length of sentence. Now I want for you to try it. I want for you to try to write for 10 to 15 minutes and I want for you to use this same setting. This is our abandoned fun park or theme park. And I want for you to try to use beautiful sentence structure or sentence fluency. Make sure that you are varying, that you're trying on different sentence structure as well as length. I should see both short and long sentences in your writing. Try it now.